say
If I
shit.
play
This
with
is
the
how dumb.
timings,
No, this is how dumb you
I'm
are.
super smart,
This
man.
is how dumb he
I'm
is.
the first YouTuber, pound for pound, #1 in the world. Yes. Oh, here.
He's getting angry.
Look at me, man.
I'll whoop both your ass on the same night.
It's gonna be a good fight.
Put both the Chavezes in there. I'll whoop senior and junior.
Trash talk. He was talking to your father and all that. And so I was wondering if you felt disrespected or upset about anything that he said in the press conference.
Yes, a little bit disrespect.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. responded with confidence, saying he has the public behind him and that people are eager to see Jake Paul finally humbled. He made it clear that fans are tired of Jake's trash talk and attention-seeking antics, and are ready for someone to silence him in the ring.
Campeón, dile.
When you were born, I was already a champ.
There's two things you can't beat. There's two things you can't beat. Me and your drug addiction.
Well, Julio, you have had your struggles in recent years.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. expressed how disrespected he felt by Jake Paul's press conference. Comments, especially the ones involving his father. He acknowledged that trash talk can help hype a fight, but said Jake crossed the line. Julio emphasized that he had always shown Jake respect, but didn't receive the same in return. Making this feel like more than just promotion. It felt personal.
People say, I like Jake Paul. Oh, hey, Jake Paul. I don't like him. Beat him. Put back him in the internet, YouTube. So I'm feel the support to everybody, man.
You think there's any chance this man could beat you?
Not a shot in hell. There's nothing he does that can offset anything I'm gonna do to him. Not a single thing. Cardio, pace, output, jabs, body work, inside fighting, wherever the fight goes, however the fight goes, he's gonna be outworked in every single round.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is entering this fight with a mindset rooted in experience and legacy. Unlike Jake Paul's usual opponents, Julio isn't a crossover athlete or someone making a comeback. He's a lifelong boxer, trained from a young age, and has spent decades in the ring. While Jake thrives on internet fame, Julio embodies old-school boxing discipline, skill, and dedication. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to demonstrate what a real boxing life looks like. For him, it's not about headlines.
To enter to a real boxing, is why he started me, because I'm ex-world champion, so he speak too much trash, and try to sell the fight, but I don't like hear that things, like, I don't know, Jake is good for that, for promote fights and these things, but I really want to find out if it's good boxing, for real.
So a lot of people who have fought Jake have tried to sort of, as I said, end Jake Paul, like end all of this. They don't like that he's in boxing. Is that a motivation for you to knock him out so that he says, I don't want to do this anymore, so you could be the one to say you got Jake Paul out of fighting?
Yes, so that's, I'm still thinking that I'm better than Jake Paul, so I think after this fight, maybe Jake continue to fight. I don't know, try to be a best boxer, but I don't think he have skills and everything for win that fight. Yes, I want to end the Jake Paul career. I want to end.
What do you think it will say about you at this stage of your career? 39, you've been fighting for so long, 60 fights, all that stuff. If you beat Jake Paul, what will that say about who Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is right now?
When asked at a press conference whether Jake Paul could ever face someone like Canelo Alvarez, Julio Jr. didn't hold back. He said the skill gap is enormous, and that Jake wouldn't stand a chance in a real fight against someone at Canelo's level. Julio believes comparing Jake to Canelo is pure hype, not even close to reality, and finds such talk both ridiculous and disrespectful to true fighters.
You know, for me, like when I lost with Anderson Silva, but I'm out of shape. So these things, like the fight with Silva and a couple other fights, make the UFC fighters or the other people thinking then this guy can beat like a real boxers. So I don't think that's not possible, you know, because when you are a real boxer, you train right. It's different, you know, different sport, you know. You in boxing you need to do in point, to win rounds. And UFC, you're only thinking and I don't know, kill the other guy, you know. So it's different. So I'm very excited. I'm training very hard to prove that I'm much better fighter than Jake Paul. So and
Fellow boxer Rolando Rolly Romero also praised Julio's experience, pointing out that Julio has faced more elite fighters than Jake can probably even name. In boxing, that kind of peer respect carries weight. It reflects who you've really been in the ring with. Julio has fought in high-pressure title bouts against real talent. For him, this isn't just another match. It's part of a long and legitimate boxing journey. Rolly's comments underline just how vast the experience gap is between Julio and Jake.
I don't think he have a chance with Canelo.
Obviously, Jake was scheduled to fight Canelo, and then it fell through. How do you think that fight would have gone? Do you think he would have been in some big trouble?
No, I think he's much better than him, you know. It's not the same level, so that's why I see that my career is different than his career, because I don't think he have a chance.
28, Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Jake Paul presents himself as a disruptor, often claiming he's revolutionizing boxing and bringing renewed attention to the sport. He believes the sport was stagnant and that his unique approach is shaking things up. Despite the criticism, Jake interprets the backlash as proof that he's doing something right. However, too many, including Julio, Jake's attitude misses the core of what boxing is really about: hard work, tradition, and sacrifice, not just viral fame.
But he's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
People got to see more, you know. People don't want to give it to him. Just coming where he's come from.
Yeah.
But if other boxers co-sign him as a real fighter, that's a good testament. That's a good sign.
Bro, he's fighting Chavez Jr. I don't care.
Yeah.
Bro, he's fighting a real fighter. He's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
But how do you think Jake does in that fight?
Where's the fight at? Cruiser?
No idea. 65? What?
I don't even know. I don't pay attention to it, to be honest with you.
I don't think Jake Paul can make 65 ever. So.
Nah, hell no. Jake Paul is like a good 220 pounds naturally.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
165.
How tall is he?
Jake Paul trains hard, bro. He's a very intelligent person. You gotta think he's a fucking bimbo. He's very fucking intelligent.
Yeah. He's definitely a beast, and he's definitely a monster with marketing.
No, not even a marketing, bro. He's a very intelligent person.
Yeah. You could tell.
Boxing legend and promoter Oscar De La Hoya has shown real interest in this bout, primarily because it marks Jake's first fight against a seasoned boxer. Julio's background brings a level of seriousness that fans have been waiting for. La Hoya isn't just excited about the spectacle. He sees this fight as Jake stepping into real boxing for the first time. With Julio's skill and professional record, the stakes are much higher. This isn't social media fame versus retired athletes, it's real boxing versus internet buzz.
When you say that, what does that mean to you to protect the sport?
Well, for me, I feel like I'm the only one doing it. Everyone else is just trying to gatekeep or say that they're doing things for the sport or something is bad for boxing, but I'm the greatest thing to happen to boxing since Muhammad Ali, and there's no even debating that. And what I've done speaks for itself. No other fighter is building gyms, getting boxing gloves into the hands of kids, throwing multiple events a year, donating my whole entire purse back into my own charity when I fought in Puerto Rico, taking women from getting paid $1,000 to 5, 6, 7 million, breaking Netflix records, shutting down the site, 128 million global viewers. The list goes on, and I've done this in only 12 fights where Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Marvin Hagler, like you could name any of these people, fought nobodies for their first 15 to 20 fights, and no one even knew who they were. And so my career has been different, heavily criticized from the start, but that's the mark and the sign of someone who's a disruptor and someone who's changing the game.
Some fans and critics have pointed to Julio's age, claiming he may be past his prime. But that argument misses the bigger picture. Julio hasn't disappeared from the sport or taken extended breaks. He's stayed in shape, remained in training, and continues to live the lifestyle of a fighter. Unlike Jake's previous opponents, many of whom came from other sports or had long layoffs, Julio is still very much active and sharp.
And I'm really excited because the only reason I got involved with this is because he's fighting a real fighter now. Julio Cesar Chavez went 12 rounds with Canelo. He is an ex-world champion in boxing. So this is a real legit fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm obviously questioning what Chavez Jr. will we see. Will he be in great shape? Will he not be in shape? Will he make weight? Will he do a lot of questions behind it? But ultimately, you have to tell yourself, Jake Paul, congratulations. This is a real first legitimate world champion fighter you're fighting.
There has always been skepticism surrounding Jake's fights, his match with Mike Tyson. For instance, drew rumors that it was more about hype than sport. Now his fight with Julio is sparking similar speculation. Some fans wonder if it's more of a money-making event than a genuine competition. While there's no solid evidence behind these claims, the pattern of Jake facing older or unconventional opponents keeps the rumors alive. Still, both fighters have reputations at stake, and the world will be watching closely.
Word on the grapevine is that Jake Paul will be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in his upcoming fight. That is apparently going to be announced very, very soon. Now, this is actually quite a interesting one, really. Jake's going to get a lot of stick for this. It is another retired fighter. However, this is a guy that realistically has only been retired for about 4 years. He also isn't a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. Chavez Jr. is only 39 years old. The last notable fight, realistically, for Chavez Jr. was Danny Jacobs. That was back at the back end of 2019. So you could say that realistically, the guy hasn't been fighting top competitors for about 5.5 years or so. The thing that does worry me just a little bit is that Chavez Jr. was pretty much fighting at middleweight during his, let's say, prime. And no doubt that this fight will be at cruiserweight, if not heavyweight. So good on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is semi-recently retired this time, and is actually a boxer and not an MMA fighter. But again, shame on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is considerably smaller and will likely want them to balloon up to cruiserweight. Maybe even heavyweight if Jake's sticking at this thing of he's a heavyweight now. Let me know in the comments, will you watch this if it's on Netflix and it doesn't cost any more money like the Mike Tyson fight did? Are you interested? Should Jake Paul be taking on more active professional boxers nowadays, not someone who has been retired for 4 or 5 years? I'm interested to know your opinions. Also, will this fight actually get made? Let me know in the comments. As always, like, favourite, save and a share, all appreciated. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything boxing, hit that follow button. Peace out.
Jake is entering this bout with full belief in his training and story. He sees this fight as his opportunity to prove he truly belongs in boxing. At the same time, he views it as a test for Julio, to see if he can still compete at today's level. Jake's self-belief fuels his fans and builds hype. One thing giving Jake added confidence is his win over Anderson Silva, who once defeated Julio. But boxing doesn't work like math. Victories don't always transfer. Still, that comparison boosts Jake's mindset. Confidence is key, especially when your opponent is hearing your claims in the media. Whether Jake's confidence translates into performance in the ring remains to be seen.
You can't make this shit up. Guys, Jake Paul fights this weekend at the same time as UFC 317. And don't be shocked, but it's another scam. This time it's against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who's 39 years old, hasn't fought in a year, and lost a boxing match to Anderson Silva, who's not even a fucking boxer and 50 years old. You guys have to know the drill by now. Take Jake Paul, minus 650, throw him in parlays, take him straight, lay the line, he's not losing. This shit's hilarious, a flat out joke, a disgrace, but free cash is free cash. I'm not watching a second of this fight. A second. I'm just gonna watch my bets, turn green, and get paid out. Do yourself a favor and get paid out too. Jake Paul, minus 650. Free as the air you breathe.
Jake's fight with Mike Tyson felt more like a spectacle than a serious challenge. Tyson hadn't fought in years, which gave Jake an edge. But Julio is a different kind of threat. He's younger than Tyson, faster, more active, and fully in. Sync with today's boxing pace. Julio isn't just a famous name. He's a real present-day danger.
What do you think about when you see some of these matches? Like they just said, didn't they just have Jake Paul was going to fight
Tyson?
What do you think about that shit, man?
It's fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's fucking dumb, I think.
Like, well, what are you expecting? What do you think the outcome's going to be?
Well, I think...
Because I thought that Jake Paul would have lost by now, even fighting these guys at some stage, but he keeps winning. Like, I know that they're not, like, in their prime or whatever, but the whole background was fighting.
That's a good point.
And he keeps, like, somehow pulling it out. Like, if he pulls this one out, I don't care how old Mike Tyson gets. I'm not even fighting that guy until... Because he actually sat down on my show. He's fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I felt I would not fight. Even if he's 70 years old, I'm not fighting him.
What, he just felt like he had that danger in him?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
well, I asked him, what would you be if you weren't a boxer? He said, a fucking criminal. Like, stone cold my eyes.
Damn,
and I'm like, okay, nice.
Jake Paul continues to divide the boxing world. His fans enjoy the excitement and chaos he brings, but traditional boxing enthusiasts still question his motives. To them, Jake's journey feels more like a reality show than a serious boxing career. Facing Julio offers him a real chance to change that perception. If Jake performs well, he might finally earn the respect of his critics. But if the fight feels like another publicity stunt, the skepticism will only grow louder.
Jake Paul just went against Anderson Silva last night, and it was crazy. They was going back and forth. But in the 8th round, Jake Paul dropped Anderson Silva. It was a crazy back and forth war, but I feel that's what gave him the dub. Jake Paul walks away with the unanimous decision victory. The judges scored the scorecard 77-74, 78-73, and 78-73. Jake Paul advances to 6-0 in his professional boxing career. This was insane. He then goes on to call out Nate Diaz. What do you think is going to happen with that? It's crazy with this. Everybody and their mom was doubting Jake Paul back and forth. But now, when he beats Anderson Silva, what do you think he's going to do to Nate Diaz? No disrespect, but he's a much younger fighter. He's getting better every day, every night. And who knows? He might walk away with a W. Tune in next time.
My final What's That Smell goes to Jake friggin' Paul. Yes, as he's gearing up for his upcoming fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a guy that can't win a fight, hasn't won a fight in the last 10 years. The guy's been an absolute joke. Well, Jake comes out and says, hey, listen, I'm getting in the ring with a champion at one point. I'm getting in the ring with a guy that was on top of the world at one point. All Jake Paul is selling is at one point, because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't won in more than 10 years of those points. What are you trying to sell? Here's what I think he's trying to sell. He's trying to sell a fight that means nothing. Jake Paul, he's great on the HBO special thing, the documentary that he has, The Polls. He's great at everything he touches when it comes to marketing. Stop trying to sell something that doesn't exist. You will never get into a ring with a real boxer, because if you do, you're going to get your